Sergio Studios. Extra. Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Sergio Dominguez, and what you're watching is a time lapse of a hand-drawn animation scene that I did for the 200th episode of The Sergio Show. So yeah, I wanted to create another scene where, since it's a milestone episode, I want to do a little animation of me celebrating, like I did in the 100th episode, but with more poses and a little different approach. Some of the poses are similar if you look back, but I wanted to add more drawings, more poses, and be reminiscent, but obviously, since it's another set of 100 episodes, improve on it a little bit more. Now, the big difference was that this is the first animation I've ever done on a Wacom Cintiq tablet, because for the longest time, ever from 2008 to 2019, I've been drawing and animating on a regular Wacom tablet with, no screen. So whenever I had to do a drawing or even hand-drawn animation, it would be there. So one hand would be drawing, and I would have to look at a screen separately. So the drawings would come off, a little bit uncomfortable for me to draw. Maybe the drawings were off. And whenever I had to do any hand-drawn animation, it could not be that elaborate or that detailed or with a lot of poses, because it's just tablets are small and the screen's big, and the way I'm looking at it for the longest time was very frustrated. For over a decade I tried to figure out how to approach hand-drawn animation without a Cintiq tablet for a long time. My previous take would be getting a sketchbook, making a bunch of animation drawings and poses on one page, first in pencil, then in pen, outline them, scan them, and put each drawing in its own frame into Toon Boom, along with aligning them one after the other properly, and then it would look animated. Then that's how it would be animated. But that was like the techniques back then. But I finally got a Wacom Cintiq, and I wanted to do some hand-drawn animation, and this was great timing to do it in the 200th episode of the show, and had the first thing be me celebrating this milestone. Now I started making two different layers. One layer is the rough key poses. While I was animating, I had to, listen to the audio recording of me celebrating and figuring out which moment would have the pose of me going, yeah, or this or that, for which pose. And that was the first part of the part. And when I listen through and draw key poses, then I would do another layer, which would be the official animation for it. And it was all drawn once and within a day. The whole process in total took a day, at least, 6 hours took. This whole 20-second scene. I drew it really quick and I simplified it, but I wanted to still be fun and elaborate. There's a lot of reused poses, and just altering some of the drawings using drawing tools in Toon Boom, like the vector and perspective tool. Sometimes within a drawing there is something missing, like another outline or something, so I would have to go back and work on it. Like right here, you can see me just copying the other hand since I'm just doing that kind of pose. So it would take a good number of drawings of me to make this work. But yeah, first time animating within a Wacom Cintiq, I really had a good time and it was very comfortable. And to me, it came out great so far. Yeah, the rough drawings were really rough, but I just wanted to doodle out some poses, because when I get to the animation, obviously it's gonna be a lot more refined. But there's very little cleanup since it's all just done within the computer. I just wanted to draw it once as best as possible. If there is like a mistake, which we will see later on, I would just alter the outline a little bit since it's just vector graphics and I have some tools just to fix that. But I really wanted it to ultimately be cartoony and just rubbery and stretchy and expressive. Some in between frames are like smear frames. And sometimes I would set some of these into a cycle, like right here. It would be a cycle of me going, yay! Just like in a rotation like that. Yeah, there are moments when I animate, there would be a big line that would appear out of nowhere. I don't know if it's the positioning or the animation software that I'm using. It's pretty old, while the tablet I'm using is new, but I don't know. The animation software that I'm using is Toon Boom Studio version 3.5. I got it back in April 30th of 2007, and I've been using it ever since. It's been great. I know there's better versions of Toon Boom out there, but I've been using this since. For this one, I wanted to. It would be another scene of me laughing, and I wanted to be a little bit more expressive, a little bit more fun to draw with some unique poses. So I was like, okay, let me just go full body in this one. Because the previous version, when I would laugh and end, it would just be me grabbing my head, putting my hands on top of my head. So I was like, okay, let me do this. And in these drawings, I don't usually draw that often with my character posing the legs that much, unless I really need to. If it's a walk cycle, but laughing like that, I barely did. I barely did that. Oh yeah, there was a point where I was drawing the head, and it didn't look good while I was drawing it directly there. So I was like, let me just draw these. There are certain body parts that I drew separately, then put it on. Now we're getting into the coloring process. That means I outlined most of it. There will be a part where I do a run through and I realize, oh, I didn't draw that outline or that outline, or I'm missing this or that. So there would be a look through over here. Now coloring is fun. Just go every frame color per part. So first I color in black for the hair and the space in the mouth or anything else. Usually it's quick. There are times where I draw so fast that it doesn't close. Maybe there's a certain gap or space between outlines that didn't connect or close properly, so the paint bucket won't fill in. That usually happens. Oh yeah, the part where I go woo, I did use a boiling effect where it's just one drawing, but I copy and paste the drawing in the next cell, and then use the smooth tool to smooth out the outlines. I've done it a couple of times and cycle it. That kind of technique has been done before on the show and a lot of other cartoons out there. Yeah, there's a part where I just stay still and go, oh my gosh. Well, that's just one pose. I did have to copy and paste a lot because I would do the mouth animation on that. Even then, while you see there's certain spaces I had to close in so the paint can go through and color in. Sometimes there will be a part where I'm like, maybe I should stretch this more, and I know a drawing tool that can just stretch out the drawing. I don't have to redraw it that much. Right here, I'm using the perspective tool on one of the drawings because I'm like, maybe it should be a little bit more to the left and right. So I did use perspective tool on that. Now, what you're seeing on the arm, I realized I drew the arm wrong while I'm saying that line. The drawing is a little bit off, so I just drew, fixed one frame, and then I had to take that whole arm, or that piece of, the piece of the arm, copy and paste it on the next several cells that have that drawing but different arm. So that one cell of the fixed arm, I had to copy and paste it so it looks the same while it goes through. And also, there's a part where I had to stretch the legs because it came off too short earlier. So yeah, there was some fixing to do while just coloring and painting. Coloring and painting by just clicking in the space. But this is digital animation, digital art. Right after I did that, I did want to add some extra keyframes and animation. So I did rig it to a peg for certain movements, rocking back and forth. There would be a part where I would come up and come down when it's over. So there was some tweening and key poses. And me running through them, I would run through this multiple times. Now I'm doing a layer of effects, and these are yellow, like sprite effects, star effects. I did that in the previous 100th episode celebration. Wanted to add more yellow, like magic effect. There's some extra magic effect drawings. That's what I did in one layer. There was already before I animated this. There's already a layer done where it's the 200th episode graphic flashing, along with a background. But one last things I did was also do fireworks. I just did one animation of a firework, also hand drawn, a couple frames, duplicate multiple times, recolor them. Each of them will have its own coloring. At least 7, because in one scene there were 7 like fireworks. About 7 or 8. Or was it 9? Oh well, you see on the screen. And I would line them up and organize them. And yeah, that was the whole process. I did have to look through. There were some mistakes, like the pupils. Yeah, the pupils didn't look visible when they were exported. I think I drew them too small. So it was also me correcting and fixing that. So I'd have to look through when everything's set up and done for any mistakes like that. And sometimes an outline would be too far out, and I would have to delete it or cut it out. And look through it multiple times, and that was the finished, completed, animated shot. Thank you very much for watching this video. Have an animated day. And that was my first attempt at hand-drawn animation using a Wacom tablet. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Yeah! We did it again! Woohoo! 200 magical episodes this time! Yippee! Oh my gosh, it happened! Oh yeah! Thank you for watching this video. Have an animated day.